Hi, everyone. We are going to get started. It is right at 9. We may have some people roll in, but I don't want to take up too much of your morning. So we are going to get right into it. Feel free to follow along with me, or if you prefer, you can just watch, whatever is easiest to you. What I am going to be doing really quickly as we get started is I'm going to ask you a series of questions in the poll. But before we do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Catherine Wilhoit. I am your OKCareerGuide gal. So I can help you with any questions you may have for the student side of OKCareerGuide. I can also help you with the back end of OKCareerGuide. We are only going to be covering the student side of OKCareerGuide today. And that way you all feel a little bit more comfortable with it and see it and can go in and play around with it on your own. And then I'm going to introduce you to some resources and things that you could do with OKCareerGuide. And then I'm going to show you some trainings that we have coming up for reporting and those things. So today we're going to focus all on the student side. But before we do that, I've got a poll that you are going to see pop up on your screen. And so this is a little bit of a tell me about you. It helps me get an understanding of where you are and how much of an understanding you have of OKCareerGuide, how much of an understanding you have of Icap, and kind of what you're using OKCareerGuide for. Most are using it for Icap resources, but it's okay if you are not. So go ahead and answer the questions you see on your screen for me. So the first one is, what grade level do you work with the most? And the second is, what's your purpose for using OKCareerGuide? So I'm going to give you just a moment to do that for me. Perfect. So we have some, it looks like I have one of you that's with 6th through 8th grade, and then some of you work with 6th through 12th. Most of you work with 9th through 12th. So that's great. And that kind of gives me an idea. And it looks like, well, I have a larger percentage that is using this for student and adult career development, which is great. But a lot of you are using it for Icap requirements too. So that just gives me a general idea of where you are and what I can do to answer some questions that can go for all of you, that can work for all of you. So I'm going to end that poll. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You will see the website pop up right in front of you. Again, you are more than welcome to go along with me if you would like. If you just want to watch, that is totally fine too. The first thing I want to tell you is, if you do not already have a mock or a fake student account, I encourage you to create one. You can do that now, or if you want to do that after we are done, that is completely fine. But what you will do, I'm just going to get you started on that just in case you don't have one. If you do have one, go ahead and log into it. But if you don't have one, you will click create an account. And you will select, I am a middle or high school student, or I'm a college student, whatever best represents the student population you work with the most. So middle or high school student will be for most of you, college student, adult technology center student, adult job seeker, career changer. Please be sure to not select, I am an administrator or educator. You will see whenever I select that, it's actually going to lead to our admin side. And so again, we're just going to do the student side today. We are not going to create an administrator account today. So select whatever student population you work with the most, high school or middle school, college student, adult technology center student, so forth and so on. Don't worry about the administrator or educator today. So once you select whatever student population you work with the most, so I'm going to select middle or high school student. Next steps. It is going to ask you for a grade level, 6th through 12th. Now, some of you work with 6th through 8th graders. Some of you work with 6th through 12th graders. The good news is, once you get into the system, you can change your grade easily. It's not complicated at all. But what I will tell you is, for our 6th graders, the system looks a little different. For our 7th and 8th graders, it changes just a bit too, but then 9th through 12th graders, the account is completely the same. So select whatever you would like to see. But again, once you get into the system, you can change your grade very easily. So you can just select 9th grade, whatever graduation year you'd like to put, 2027. Now for the school, I would encourage you to not tie it to your technology center, your college, your high school, your middle school, because then your information that you use on the student side will be in the reporting side on the admin account. So for your school. So if you are with Bixby High School or Broken Arrow High School or Manford High School, if you put that as your school, that information will be on the back end as well from whatever you do in your student side. So what you can do instead is ODCTE, and you'll see 3 options pop up. We've got tech training, training high school, or training middle school. You are welcome to select whatever, because again, this is something you can easily change once you get into the system. This stands for Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education. If you lose that, just know ODCTE is in my name on Zoom. And so that is how you can remember ODCTE. And then you would go to the next step to continue creating your fake student account. But I'm going to go back to the website. So we're at OKCareerGuide.org, OKCareerGuide.com, whatever you want to type in, and you will see this page. If you already have a fake student account, you will go to the OKCG login. That is where students go to log in unless you have Clever. If you use Clever at your school, we can tie OKCareerGuide to your Clever accounts. Administrator login, again, that is not something we're going to focus on today. That is something we can definitely do in the future. So for now, go ahead and log into your student account. And now one thing I will tell you is the steps I just briefly walked you through on creating an account. That is how your students will create an account, or your population that you're serving will create an account. If they forget their username, they can click OKCG login, and they can select forgot username. Now it can either email them or send them a text message for their username access. And so that is something they can most definitely do. They can also select forgot password. And when they select forgot password, it will pop up and ask them a security question. And so they're going to need to know the answer to their security question, and they're going to need to know their zip code. Now, there is a way on the back end that I'm not going to focus on today where you can access their username and you can reset their password for them. So that's something, if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm happy to show it to you in the future whenever we do the admin side training. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and log in. And if you've never had an account or if you've never played around in it, then it's going to be completely blank for you, which is totally fine. That gives you the opportunity to then go in and do whatever you'd like in your account. The most important thing I want to focus on first, and this is very important for reporting purposes, is making sure that the student every single school year goes into their account settings. Okay, so what they will do is they'll go up to their name up at the top right, click that drop down, and they will click account settings. Now, when that loads, this is where you're going to see all of their information. You will see all of your information here. And that's why I mentioned it's so easy to change your school, to change your grade in here. Very, very easy to do so. But it is important for every single year that they update their grade and that they update their school or make sure that their school is correct, especially those of you who are working with 6th through 8th graders. If depending on how you all classify 8th and 7th graders, some are at like an in-between, middle school, junior high. Like in Stillwater, for example, they move into a junior high And then at 10th grade, they go to the high school. So every school is a little bit different. So you're going to want to make sure that the incoming grade at the high school is correct and not still tied to their middle school or junior high account. So if it is still tied to a different school, even if their grade is correct, it will not pull up on your reporting side for your high school students. Same for your middle school. If their school is not correct, it will not pull reports for your middle school. So make sure that their school is correct. All they have to do is click this little edit button, and they will go to new school and type in whatever school they would like. So I'm just going to type in Stillwater High School. It's probably Stillwater HS. There it is. So some of them are Stillwater HS, some are Stillwater High School, some are fully spelled out. So just have them type, for example, their name of the school, and it may be elementary school HS. So you'll see some are spelled out, some are not, like this one's middle school. So just have them type in whatever their school town name is, and then it'll pull up. And so once they've selected whatever school, they will update that information there. And then same with 9th grade, they can easily adjust here and update their grade level. They can also do that over here. So if you see, again, I'm going to move, so where I went right here, and they can adjust their grade level here, but that does not adjust their school. So that's why it's important to have them go to account settings, make sure their school is correct. For your sophomores and above, it should always remain correct, but and probably for your freshmen as well, because most freshmen are at high school, but not all are. So it's going to depend on how your school system separates out the grades. And so another thing is with your seniors, because I've had some schools ask this, what do we do whenever they graduate? Do they take their account with them? Some of them want access to their account after they graduate. So what they can do is they can select here. So say they are a 12th grader, they're getting ready to graduate. They can select, let me go back. They can select, are you done with high school? And then they can enter here. I'm just going to enter in Tulsa Community College as an example. And so that is something that they can upgrade to, and then it moves their account to TCC. And then they can still log in with that same login information, but then the student is no longer under your high school reporting, and you don't have to worry about moving them out. They are moved out on their own. So that is something that if you would like to have your seniors move their accounts out, they absolutely can. And a lot of universities and colleges use OKCareerGuide as well. So, and tech centers all use OKCareerGuide. So feel free to have them update that before they graduate if you would like. So again, very important that they may have that information up to date so that your reporting is up to date, especially for Icap purposes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the home page, and I kind of just want to walk you through the way this is set up, just in case you've never seen it before. So let's start at the left hand column. So on the left side, you are going to see a full column. Now, again, if you work with 6th graders or 7th graders or 8th graders, the system looks a little different. So let me show you what it looks like for a 6th grader. I'm going to upgrade my grade level, and then I'm going to refresh it. You will notice that it really diminishes a lot of the aspects that they can use, but that's okay because they're in 6th grade. Still allows them to do the career interest assessment, and still allows them to do some exploration over here on this left-hand column. Now in 7th and 8th grade, they get access to the career interest assessment they had in 6th grade, and now they can now do the skills competence assessment as well. Okay, so they get access to both of those assessments in 7th and 8th grade. Everything else is the same as what they would have had at the 6th grade level. Okay, so this is what they would see for 7th and 8th grade. And then for 9th grade, when they update that, they then get access to everything under the sun for Icap requirements. Okay, so we'll go through that together. But the first thing I want to focus on are the assessments you see in the center. So again, we've got this left-hand column. We will go through that together in just a moment. In the center, you have the 3 assessments. If you've never taken these before, I would highly encourage you to, just so that you know what your students are going to be seeing. Questions are very simple. It's just 1 sentence, and it's on a Likert scale. So it's very easy for your students to answer, no matter what grade level they are in. Now, if you are concerned about students' ability to do this, let me know, and I can set you up with our elementary program that goes up to 5th grade. Students can use that for ICAP purposes as well. If you have concerns about students who may be on an IEP or a 504 and need additional assistance when it comes to reading or having things read to them. Another thing I want to point out is we can change to Spanish up here. So the system can completely change to Spanish. This is important if you are working in, I know a lot of our Oklahoma City public schools have a lot of Spanish speaking students, but same with Tulsa public schools too. So can change the languaging right up here. And then to the very right, you're going to see a task list. So students can go through this. And now I've had some schools ask, does that walk you through ICAP requirements? It really is additional things that you can do with your students. So you'll see, I can look at my education plan. I can invite my parent or guardian to see my account. I can explore my occupations, retake any of my assessments. And so it's really just a little checklist that you are welcome to go through in addition to ICAP requirements with your students. So let's walk through ICAP requirements and how the system can build upon what you have to do for ICAP. So individual career and academic plan, every student starting this graduation year has to meet the requirements. So 2023 and beyond will have to meet the requirements. There are 4 main components of ICAP that I want you to know about just in case you do not know. Some of you probably do know, most of you probably know, but let's go over those together. So the 4 components of ICAP. Students have to do at least 1 career assessment annually, freshman through senior years. Again, you can start at the 6th grade level and do an assessment with them 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I know, I think of Ada Middle School and Ada High School. They start at the 6th grade level and they do some just fun career development with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders before they go on to their 9th grade year. So at least 1 assessment annually, 9th through 12th grade years. Okay. As you can see, we offer 3. We'll go through those in just a moment. The other component, the second component of ICAP, are goals. So if you look at the way the bill is written, it says post-secondary and workforce goals. The other way to say that are career and academic goals. So in our system, we call them career goals. In our system, we call them academic goals. Students have to do 1 career goal and 1 academic goal annually, 9th through 12th grade years. So at least 1 assessment every year, 9th through 12th grade, and career and academic goal annually, 9th through 12th grade. The third component is a graduation plan, an ed plan, academic progress. You may see it called multiple things, but it's essentially a student planning out their courses that they're going to take 9th through 12th grade years. And so you can help them with that. I will show you how we have ed plans set up in our system, and you can definitely help them with it and backtrack with them to see what they did their junior year versus what they'll do their senior year. Very simple to do, but they do have to do that. And then finally, and the ed plans have to be done annually as well. So you can choose to have your students do it, you know, in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, or you can have your freshman plan for all 4 years. You can have your freshman plan for the next 2, and then have them come back to it and do their junior and senior year a couple years later. You choose to do that how you would like, but they need to do an ed plan, a graduation plan, whatever you want to call it, annually. And then the fourth component has to be done just one time between 9th and 12th grade years. And so that is our work or service-based learning requirement, which essentially just means that they need to do some type of volunteer work. They need to do some type of work-based learning opportunity. That could be a career fair, mock interview, that could be guest speakers coming in, that could be a career tech program, shadowing, mentorship. I mean, it can be so many different things. We'll go through that in more detail in just a moment, but those are the four main components of ICAP. And then another thing you're going to want depending on how you all do it, your juniors or your seniors to input their ACT scores into OKCareerGuide system as well. So the state wants to see that is also implemented into their OKCareerGuide ACT scores. Any questions so far? Feel free to throw things in the chat. I'm monitoring it. So if you have questions, please feel free to throw those in there. Okay, so let's get started yes, did anybody have a question?
Yeah, are you, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, are you going to show us like, is there a place like on where the work and service-based learning, like you gave different options, there's a place where I can see those different options and stuff at some point?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I will show that to you. I'm going to start with assessments, and then I'll go to goals, and I'll go to ed plans, and then I'll go to work-based learning. So Makes sense. I will show you some resources you can use for all of those. I just muted myself. Let me start back over. So with assessments, again, students 9th through 12th grade years have the interest assessment, skills confidence assessment, and the work values assessment. Again, they just have to do one a year. So I would encourage you all to do them annually, all three annually, just so that you can see how they change from 9th through 12th grade years. I've had some schools tell me that the work values feels a little advanced for freshmen. I would say that it's really not. And the reason for that is, I'm just going to click in here and, well, here. Can retake it. It's very, very easy. So you will see it walks them through the Likert scale. Number 1, not important, all the way to 5, crucial. So how important is a job where I feel a sense of achievement at the end of the day, have good interaction with fellow coworkers, can try out new ideas. It is very simple. I do believe that freshmen can do this without any issues. And as you can see, it's not anything complicated, just one sentence to ask them simple questions. And so please encourage them to look at that and do that. But the interest assessment is very similar. It is going to ask them questions such as, I like to work with my hands. I really like automotive. I really like construction, things like that. It's going to ask them on a Likert scale, certain things. I like to help others, so forth and so on. So it's going to ask them very simple questions. Now, all three of these in combination take about 20 minutes on average for your students to do. So they don't take that long for your students to complete. You can choose to do it by grade, or you can choose to do it by assessment. So what I mean by that is, for ICAP purposes, a lot of our schools start with their seniors and get all their seniors together early in the year, sometime around now, before fall break or right as fall break's hitting, and have their seniors, juniors, and sophomores do all 3 assessments. And then they go to their freshmen and have them all 3 do assessments. So you could do it week by week. Week 1, you have your seniors do it. And then week 2, your juniors do it. And then week 3, your sophomores, and then week 4, your freshmen. And then right before fall break hits, which is about a month from now or so, actually, I think it's like 3 weeks from now, you can come back, look at your reporting side, which is why I encourage you to attend a reporting training. Look at your report side, see who's missing an assessment, track those students down, and have them do it before moving on to goals. So again, 20 minutes total to do these assessments. Now you may be wondering, okay, well, how do I assist the student in assessments? So let me go back just a bit. I'm going to show you, I'm going to be referring back to this page quite a bit. So shifting gears just a bit, we have a website that has completely free resources for you to use. It is ctyu.org. You do not need a login to access this material. You're welcome to have a login or create a login if you'd like, but you do not have to have a login. And so once you are on the home page, you are going to scroll down to Counseling and Career Development. And when you click into that, you are going to see lots of different things. The first one that's most important is OKCareerGuide curriculum. And when you get to this curriculum page, and I do want to add, I'm going to be emailing all of this out to you, but once you get to this curriculum page, you're going to see it broken down into middle school curriculum, high school curriculum, Icap resources, advisory time resources, clusters, which I'm going to cover in just a moment, and then adult curriculum if you work with adults. So sorry, I'm looking at a question in the chat. So College Start is a different system than OKCareerGuide. College Start is the other free Icap resource and tool. So if you use OK College Start, then this is not the training for you. I can refer you on to who can do the training for you. So if you use College Start, let me know and I can give you the information for who does the training for that. But for Career Guide, we have those implemented into the system. And so I'll show you where you can do that. Okay, perfect. Okay, I wanted to make sure, I didn't want you to feel like you had wasted almost 30 minutes of your time, Lillian, in a Career Guide training. So I will show you how you can do that in Career Guide. And I will also show you, and absolutely you can use SAT scores or ACT scores or both. You can, either one of those can be inputted. Yes, you're welcome. GED options. No, Sarah, we don't really have a lot of GED options. I'll show you that. Actually, let me just backtrack it for a moment, guys. I'm sorry. So Sarah, speaking to you directly, I want to show you this. So over here in this column, you are going to see plan for education. And so, and this looks a little different for adults, but if I click prepare for college entrance exams, we really only have ACT or SAT prep. We don't have a lot of GED prep, but Sarah, do you happen to have the information to our adult education here at Oklahoma Career Tech? So if you don't, I can refer you to somebody who'd be very helpful. Let me know in the chat and I will give you the information for the person you could reach out to for GED information. But we don't have, okay, let me get that for you real quick so that I don't forget, because here, I'll pull it up on the website. Here we go. Because I think they could be incredibly helpful for you. Let's see. They changed their name recently, so I'm going to have to go look. It's Adult Education and Family Literacy. And so let me give you, her name is Erin Walker. And so Sarah, let me copy this into the chat so that you can save it. As you can see, it's also on the screen. She can help you with anything GED related. So feel free to reach out to her because she will definitely have some resources for you. Okay, so making sure I got all the questions answered in the chat. Yes, okay, wonderful. So with CTU, ctyu.org, again, you have access to curriculum. And so whenever I click into, I'm just going to click into 9th grade Icap curriculum, you are going to see a variety of things. one of those things, or two of those things, I should say, are very important when it comes to assessments. And anybody can use this. Doesn't have to be 9th through 12th grade. Anybody can use these. So it's talking points before and after assessments. So when I click on those, you are going to see a script. Essentially, it's a script for you to use before students take the assessments, and then a little script after students take the assessment. And so you can debrief with them. And so I think that is a really fun little tool you can use for feeling like you have the resources and the knowledge to tell students why they're taking the assessment in the first place. So hopefully it'll feel a little bit more beneficial to them. Something else I want to show you is, and this is something I did with my students, and you can do this with a variety. I've done this with high school students, and I have done this with college age students. And so I just honestly kind of made this up. And so you're welcome to use this if you would like. I think this is a perfect tool to go along with the career values assessment. So you'll see it's our career values guess game. So this first page is a little script for you to use. And so essentially it's just going to walk through, having the discussion with the students that what they want at 16 through 18 through 20 to 24 may be totally different than what they want when they're 30, 40, or 50. They may want to travel when they're a little bit younger. They may want to live somewhere else, but then maybe they want to return closer to home if they want to have a family as they get a little bit older. Who knows? It depends on the student. It depends on what is important to them. And so that's where you could tie this to their work values assessment. For any 9th through adult student or adult population. And so essentially what I do is I have the students stand up. Every student stands up, and I have a job description for them. So you'll see I have just a few right here. And I read out bullet by bullet. And as something becomes a deal breaker, I have them sit down, and they cannot stand up again. Okay, so if something's a deal breaker as I read it, they sit back down. And they cannot stand back up. And so I'll read through each bullet, and then at the end, whoever's still standing can have the opportunity to guess what the career is. And so they don't know what the career is going into it. They just get the description, and then they guess what it is at the end. And so it's an opportunity for them to discuss, and for you to discuss, salary range. You may make between 43 and 45,000, but keep in mind, you need a master's degree to be an athletic trainer, and you're going to be on the field often. So your work schedule will not be 8 to 5 or, 8 to 4 or whatever. It's going to be inconsistent based on when you need to be on the field and when you need to be there for athletes for practice and things. And so that helps them have an idea of what different jobs take education-wise and how much they may make, at least entry-level wise. And so I think that's really fun for them. I think it also gives them an idea, like here's a vet tech, you can get your vet tech licensure and all of that taken care of at a tech center, or you can go to a specific location that offers vet tech and make between 30 and 32,000, but you're not going to have a ton of student loans. You can still work with animals, but you don't have to be a vet and go to an actual med program, and so forth and so on. And so it gives you the opportunity to talk through different options for each student. So keep that in mind, that is an activity. If you want that, just let me know. Another one I have, just going to show this to you briefly, is I call it a Scattergories career Agorries game. And essentially this is good for our younger students. You can change the category. So you'll see for category 4, as an example, name things that they could buy with a month's salary. And so down here in category 4, I'll give them 3 different letters, and they can come up with 3 different things that they can buy with a month's salary, as an example. You can change this. You can make this your own. I only had 15 minutes to do this with a group of students, so it's short and sweet, but you can make it last 20 or 30 minutes if you wanted. But just keep that in mind, that those are activities you can do with the students after they've taken their assessments. Jumping back over to assessments for one more moment, the colors are incredibly important for you to be mindful of. So you'll see for me, I'm mostly purple. I have a little bit of that minty bluish kind of color in there too. And these all pull from career clusters. You've probably seen or heard of our national career clusters. So we have 6 career fields, ag all the way to human services and resources. And under those, there are 16 clusters. And so dependent on the student's colors may mean that they're interested in a certain area of industry area. So if they mostly have this kind of magenta color, they're probably interested in something along the lines of hands-on things. So I think STEM, engineering, mathematics, architecture, construction, transportation, logistics, manufacturing, they're probably a little bit more hands-on. And then we've got our business, marketing, that kind of bluish color. So this could be marketing, finance, management, hospitality, ag, health science, if we've got the red. Yellow would be our communications folks, kind of that yellowish orange color, that golden kind of color right here. And then we've got kind of our purple color, which is everything from education, government, law, human services. Most of you will probably fall in purple. At least you'll have a little bit of purple because you work in education, but you may have other colors pop in there too. Another cluster that Oklahoma is the only state to have is our energy cluster for our oil and gas folks who maybe want to go into petroleum, oil field, so forth and so on. So you may see this kind of orangey color pop up for some of your students, and that means they're interested in energy. So keep that in mind that cluster colors are important. I know I'm going pretty quickly, but I want to make sure we get everything covered. So going back to the home page, I'm going to click into and show you what we can do with the career interest assessment as an example. So when I click into this box, it's going to show me my top 5 pathways, and those are again pulled from the clusters. So notice how most of mine are purple. Again, a lot of yours probably will be too, but I do have a little bit of blue in there. And so these are all going to show occupations within them. And so if I click into this first one, this first pathway, professional support services, it's going to show me a list of occupations that go along with that pathway. So one thing I want to point out is the little sun. The sun means that there's a high demand, bright outlook for that job. If you see a little person, dependent on what shape it is, it could be a male shape or a female shape. That means that, for example, this has a little male. That means that there are not a lot of men within that industry or that field. So not a lot of men go into library media. So you may see a male for nursing, as an example, next to a nurse. You may see a female next to a mechanical engineer, as an example. But again, an opportunity to promote opportunity no matter what their gender is, that they can go into any type of field, even if it's not a high demand, and that they may have more opportunity if they are a male and they want to go into special education, because there's not a lot of male special ed teachers. So just conversations you can have. There's also let's see if I can find it. There's also a little green leaf symbol too, and that means it's an environmentally friendly job. And so I'm clearly not environmentally friendly, I guess, because I don't have any green leaves on mine, but you will see some on yours, I'm sure. So the first job I'm going to click into is educational guidance and career counselors and advisors. And this is going to show me a little video, some quick facts about this job, and then give me some information about this job. I can also click into tasks and conditions. So it's going to give me an idea of working conditions, schedule, tasks that I will do for that particular position. The next tab shows how this job aligns with my interest, skills, and work values assessments. So you can see that this job aligns really highly with coworkers for me, but it also allows challenge and achievement for me. Education and experience will walk them through what they need to do this particular job. Salary and outlook will show them a comparison of Oklahoma to nationwide. And then some related occupations. Okay, I knew there was a little green leaf somewhere. So here's the little green leaf next to training and development specialist. I like this tab because it allows the student to have an understanding that they don't have to go and stay in one career the rest of their lives if they don't want to. There's lots of different paths that they can go based on experience and based on where they start. They can go anywhere they would like. So many opportunities. So for me, if I were a high school counselor right now, I could look at this and say, oh, I could maybe go into social work. May need to take some classes for that, but maybe I could go into social work, or maybe I could go into a training and development specialist or a patient rep. So many opportunities outside of that. So again, I went into my little box for assessments, and then I saw my pathway, and I clicked into my the first pathway, and looked at jobs under that. So please feel free to do that. I want to show you one other thing before I move on to goals. So when a student is in their top pathways, they can also click View by National Career Cluster Ranking. This is really nice, especially for those of you who maybe work with college or tech center students, because, I mean, it's really nice for anybody, but I think it's really nice for those of you who are working with students who are potentially pursuing a career path, like at a tech center as an example. So if I were to come to one of you as a student and I said, hey, I'm going to go to my tech center and I'm going to study construction, you could take a look at this and say in your head, really, Catherine, you want to do construction? Are you sure that's what you want to do? And of course, you would say it a little differently to the student, but you may be thinking, is that the right path for that student if that's not really a high interest of theirs? So it gives you an opportunity to have discussions with them and career coach them if you would like. So going back, skills, confidence, and work values, again, we've covered that, but if you click into those after you take them, you will be able to see that you can export occupations within those and kind of get an idea of how different occupations align with what you feel like you're good at and what you feel like you value in a job. So any questions so far about assessments? Okay, perfect. The next thing we're going to go through are goals. So down here, it's at the third to the bottom, is where students are going to enter their academic and career goals for Icap purposes. But you can do this with any student. Something that I really like to do is I like to have students do a SMART goal worksheet. So they could do a SMART academic goal and then a SMART career goal worksheet. And then they could do that annually for 9th through 12th grade years, or you could do it with your 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. You can do this with your adults. And so for Icap purposes, this could be a great way for them to think through their goal and hopefully take it seriously, and then they can go and input that information into CareerGuide. But what I will tell you is that for your goals, for your students' goals, especially for Icap purposes, they can be very simple. They do not have to be overly complicated, and they can build upon each other. So for example, you may have a student, a lot of students tour tech centers their sophomore year. And so maybe a student is really interested, like there's, you know, I think of Gordon Cooper, or I think maybe Metro Tech that does showcases in the fall for sophomores to come and explore different programs that the tech center offers. And so that could be a goal. Go to Gordon Cooper showcase in the fall 2022. And that could be a career goal, that could be an academic goal, because either way, if they're going to go into a program at Gordon Cooper, that could potentially lead to a career for them. So their sophomore year, they could say, I'm going to the showcase at Gordon Cooper. And then their junior year, they could say, attended showcase last year, starting program at Gordon Cooper Tech for automotive or whatever. And so they can build upon each other, but they are going to need to do an academic goal and a career goal annually. But again, they can build upon each other. So one could be, I want, sophomore year, I want to take US history concurrently my junior year, want to succeed in Oklahoma history, want to make A in Oklahoma history my freshman year and my sophomore year so that I can take US history concurrently my junior year. I mean, they can build upon each other. Another one that could be a career goal, get a job to save for a car. That could be a career goal. So, Connor, no, but I will email it to you. I'm honestly going to email all of this to you. You guys pick and choose what you want to use. And so I think I have everybody that is attending. I will email all of you. Okay, so again, what they will do is they will click add a goal. They will type whatever that goal is. So again, make an A in algebra 2, if I can spell. And then they will select that maybe as a high school goal. Doesn't matter what goal type or category they put it in. Well, category is important. For this, I'm going to put academic goal. And then step 1, study, meet with teacher, tutor, whatever that may be. Now, something I've talked to other schools about, this is up to you for ICAP purposes. If you want them to put the date that they're doing this goal, that they're entering this goal, then just have them select today. If you want it to have a deadline in the future, that's totally fine, but you are welcome to have them just select today as the deadline. It's okay if the goal is not marked as completed, as long as you have proof that they did a goal each year, 9th through 12th grade years. And that's why sometimes it's nice to just have them select the date that they're doing the actual goal. For example, if they were to put a goal in today, 9/20 as the date, even if that's not the deadline, that's okay. That way you have proof, okay, this freshman did this on September 20th, 2022, and then he's now a sophomore and he did it in September of 2023 for his sophomore year. So feel free to make that your own. So any questions about goals? Again, I will provide that SMART goal worksheet for you, and I have a little script for you to utilize as well. And so that walks you through assessments and goals. Let's talk through ed plans, because I know some folks had some questions about ed plans. So it is the second from the bottom. So we're going to click into My Ed Plans, and you will see that students can create one a year, or they can create one mass ed plan and do 9th through 12th grade years and not one. So you'll see, like, I have one for 9th, one for 10th, one for 11th, one for 12th. They're welcome to do that, or they can do one mass ed plan, 9th through 12th. So if I click add a new plan, I can name it, I'm just going to name it Stillwater High. It will automatically load whatever school they are under here. So you can see my account is tied to the training high school account. I'm in 9th grade, the current year, and then I'm going to select the area of study, and I'm going to click Create Plan. And when I click that, you are going to see that students have 9th through 12th grade. We even have honestly 7th, 8th, and post-secondary here. So for 9th grade, you will see it's broken down into specific categories. And this is true for every grade except 11th and 12th grade. For my particular way that I have my ed plan set up, 11th and 12th graders have access to concurrent classes in their ed plans. 9th and 10th graders do not. So that's mainly the only difference. If you would like access to the ed plan I have for the state, I'm happy to provide that for you. Just let me know. I was at Purcell High School on Friday, and I worked with their counselor to get them set up with the state ed plan. And so they can utilize that for their students moving forward. And so this is what our state ed plan looks like. So the first one is ELA. So if I click that little blue or black, excuse me, plus button, it's going to give me a course name. I'm going to just select English 1 and add that course. So for freshman year, I'm in English 1. Maybe I'm in Oklahoma history for my freshman year. For math, algebra 1, I'm going to add this course. Maybe I'm in physical science this year, add this course, and so forth and so on. And so students can go through and add their classes. This is the way to do it. However, something that I can help you with if you are interested is I can get you set up with an ed plan that is specific to your school system. And so let me know in the future if that's something you would like to do. I'm happy to walk you through how to do that. It's very simple, very simple. We can do it, won't take us long at all to do. And so once the student has completed that, they will save it. And again, they can always go back in and edit this. Go back. So you'll see I just made this, and they can always go back in their sophomore year, edit it, and add their sophomore year classes to that exact same plan. So they can have all their courses on one, or they can separate it out by grade. Your choice, however you guys want to do that. So that is ed plans. Any questions about ed plans? I like to think that ed plans and goals are pretty simple. I'm more than happy to help you get set up with creating a individualized school ed plan so that it's only got the list of courses you all offer. Because right now the state ed plan that I have has 1,024 courses, which is a lot, but that's just statewide. But some schools don't offer Spanish 1 and 2. Especially if you're really rural, some schools don't offer computer science, especially if you're really rural. And so again, happy to help you with that. Some schools offer Cherokee. They offer certain languages that larger schools may not offer. So happy to help you with that. Please let me know if that's something you would like to do in the future. And so that is how students will do their ed plans. Now, there is a way on the back end to access all of this for your students. But again, we're not going to cover that today. I'm going to show you how we can do that in the future though. So I want you to feel like, hey, I understand this, the student side now, and I want to understand the admin side so that I can pull this information for my students. Now, a couple of last pieces, work-based learning, and I'm going to cover where you can enter ACT scores, all that good stuff. So the first thing I'm going to cover with you, let me pull this up. This is something I will absolutely email to you. Okay, perfect. So this is from Oklahoma Edge, and you will see it's a 5-page document for you and your administrators, teachers, whoever to look at. You will see that page 1 just is a very simple overview of work-based and service-based learning. And then you will see down here, the second page gives you sample activities for service learning. Gives you sample activities for work-based learning. So we've talked about these a little bit, but this gives you more specifics. So virtual or in-person career and college fairs, business and industry tours count, junior and senior conferences, Boys and Girls Club of America, or of Oklahoma, I'm sorry. And then we've got STEM Academy, career tech programs, community and nonprofit organizations like Project Lead the Way. If you guys do mock interviews, or if the tech center does mock interviews, because a lot of tech centers do mock interviews with their students. Any mentorship, shadowing, Internships, apprenticeships, any of those can count. Lots of different things you can do with work-based learning. And again, just one time between freshman and senior years. Service learning could be maybe they do volunteer with their church or with a student organization, or maybe their family does, a Thanksgiving, they go, locally and help with Thanksgiving meals, or maybe they do, like a Christmas tree, angel tree, any of those can count. You just need documentation of it. So we'll walk through that in just a moment. Yes, I will send you all of this information. Let me make sure I've got everybody's information, and I'll send all of this to you. Okay, my computer just went a little haywire. Hope you guys are still there. Yes, you're still there. Okay. Give me just a moment. Let me make sure I have everybody's information. And I see Miss Kelly Rampy. Hi, Kelly. If you can hear me or see me, it's good to see your name on my screen. I haven't gotten to see you in a while, so I hope you're doing well.
Yes, hello.
It's good to see your little name. Hopefully I'll see you in person soon, maybe at a conference or something. So
we are hoping to have you and Nathan work with our intermediate and elementary, because they really want to incorporate some of the activities and use OKCareerGuide. So
yes, we are hoping to do that very soon. Yes. So that document walks you through some work-based learning. Again, you're going to want to make sure your students document that information. So here is an example of a way to document work-based learning. So you can see that the student can put their information here. They can do a description of that work-based learning opportunity. They can include work samples. They can include what type of skills they got from that experience. So for example, I think if they attend a career fair or a college fair and they get a business card from somebody, or they get a flyer of some sort, that could be a work sample. And then one of the employability skills could be communication skills. They had to talk to somebody. If they go to a college fair, applied academic skills could be one. Systems thinking, critical thinking skills, technology use, if they are on a virtual career fair, any of that could be an example of work-based learning. I also want to show you another documentation tool, which is our observation and reflection form. This is if you're going to have a webinar, a guest speaker, do a virtual field trip, or if your student's involved in a CTSO. And so students can fill out this, and then they can upload it to their OKCareerGuide account. Yes, Sherry, I can send out this recording, no problem. So where to document this? They will go to this fourth from the bottom on the left, My Documents, and they will add a new file, upload it, name it, and it will be there for you and for them. There is a way, again, to access this on the back end. And so from there, you will see, for ICAP purposes, there is a little ICAP Oklahoma kind of in the center of that left column. And when they click that, it's going to show you what I call the green cards. And you will see that some of these are automatically filled out. Once the student does their assessments, it automatically checks this, same with goals. But students can go down here and select whatever type of work or service learning they did. So they could just select service learning and upload the documentation to prove what type of service learning they did. You'll also see ACT or SAT here. Citizenship test, CPR, personal financial lit. You are welcome to take away any of these green cards, edit them and make them your own. Again, that's something you can do on the back end. but that is the best way to fulfill work-based learning. And then finally, under my assessments, my assessments, my external assessment scores. I'm going to click on that. This is where students can enter ASVAB scores here. They can also do an additional, so they could say ACT, SAT, whatever date they took it, and then they can enter in math score, science score, and English, and so forth and so on, and enter their ACT or SAT, or they could just enter their overall score, their composite score. That is fine too. Save it, and then you will have their ACT scores just typed up here. You can also have them upload under their My Documents, upload their ACT scores from the ACT portal. They could just save it, upload it to their My Documents here. That is also an absolute easy option for them, whatever you prefer. So I want to show you one more final thing. I know it's 10 o'clock, so if you need to go, feel free. I'm wrapping up now. But one other thing I want to show you is our webinar trainings that we have. So you will see we have some deeper dive trainings coming up. So now that you've done the beginner educator training, you're going to see that we have an Icap solutions training. So I focus a lot on the back-end admin side on this particular training, and we have one coming up next month. I do later today have a better assessment results training. Later this afternoon, you're welcome to click the registration here. I'm going to include this link in the chat. That way, if you want to open that up, you are welcome to enroll in any of these. I also have a financial aid training coming up a week from today. I think it's a week from today. Is that next 28th? Yes, or a week from tomorrow. If your administrators would like to get involved, we do have an all administrator ICAP training. And on October 5th, I'll do a My Ed Plans training, a reports training, a back-end training that goes over a specific side of the back-end, job search tools. So I have quite a few various trainings. You're also welcome to contact me directly, and I do personalized trainings for schools. So like I mentioned, I went to Purcell, I went to Oklahoma City last week, was at Gordon Cooper yesterday. So I can always travel to you or do a Zoom call with you to walk through anything you have questions about. It's now 10:02, so please know I have a list of who attended. I will email you out all this information along with a PD certificate so that you have that. And then you'll have my contact info through your email. So feel free to reach out anytime you have questions. I'm always here. I'm going to let you have your day back. So you'll see an email from me. I will include, let me add this really quickly. I will include the recording of the training in that, but it may take me a little while. It takes a little while for it to download to YouTube. So you may not see my email come through for a few more hours, but I will email you later today with all this information. So have a great day. Feel free to reach out with anything. Okay, guys? See ya.